Hello, everybody. This is Jimmy. We're reading with Jimmy. We're reading Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Chapter 8, the Queen's Croquet Ground. We left off with Alice being asked to settle the argument between the king, the queen, and the executioner. Argument 1 on the previous page was from the executioner that was arguing you could not cut off a head unless a body was there. And then we continue on this page. He, the executioner, had never had to do such a thing before. And he wasn't going to begin at his time of life. He wasn't going to begin at his time of life. The king's argument, and I did outline them here as well, the king's argument was that anything that had a head could be beheaded, and that you weren't to talk nonsense. In other words, shut up, and if it's got a head, cut the head off. Then the queen's argument was that if something wasn't done about it in less than no time, she would have everybody executed all around. Remember, the queen has a one-track solution forever. She solves everything the same way. I know people in business, I come from business world, that solve everything the same way. And that's dangerous. Not just because you're chopping off anyway. So she argues if you don't do it in less than no time. Well, what is less than no time? Less than no time. If you have no time, you cannot have less, can you? So it's obviously she means it now. Parentheses. Whose parentheses are those? The third person narrator. I made a note on the left. It was this last remark that had made the whole party look grave and anxious. If you look grave and anxious, you're looking worried, grave, serious. Why? Because the queen's going to she's threatening she's going to have you executed if you don't chop the head off of this cat. So remember, they're appealing to Alice. This whole thing started out with them appealing to Alice to settle the argument. Now, if you're appealed to settle an argument, you listen to all sides of the argument. So if you were to choose the executioner as the side, you probably would get your head off. If you choose the king's side of it, that's not bad, but you better do it soon or you're going to get it executed too. So if Alice was smart, she would have chose the queen, right? She would say the queen's argument makes sense, chop his head off, but she can't. Why? Because the cat's her friend. Why would you want to hurt your friend? So Alice could think of nothing else to say. She could think of nothing else to say, but it belongs to the Duchess. You better ask her about it. Who's it? Pronoun? That's the cat. And now we know what Alice did at the last moment. She connected the owner of the cat, the Duchess, we found out in the chapters before. And she said, you better ask the Duchess about this, because it's her cat. She owns that cat. Not bad. Alice is really, really using her head because she wants to keep it. She's in prison, said the queen to the executioner. Fetch her here. She, the Duchess, is in prison. And so the executioner went off like an arrow. The cat's head began fading away the moment he was gone. And by the time he, the executioner, came back with the Duchess, it had entirely disappeared. So the king and the executioner ran wildly up and down, looking for the cat, while the rest of the party went on back to the game. The end of chapter 8. I almost wanted to write for Lewis, for the narrator. The rest of the party went back to the game like nothing ever happened. That seems to be the case a lot of times in this story, like nothing ever happened. So that ends chapter 8, the Queen's croquet ground, right? We learned about the ground. We learned about the game. We learned about the chaos. The cat comes back. She talks to the cat. It's a wonderful segue to the next chapter 9, which we're going to cover in the next session. Thanks so much. This is Jimmy. You're reading with Jimmy. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. That was chapter 8. We've concluded our analysis. Any questions? Jimmy at readingwithjimmy.com. Jimmy at readingwithjimmy.com. See you soon. Have a great day.